Hey everyone, in this video we're going to take a look at this 2022 Infiniti QX55. The QX50, that's 50, is Infiniti's compact SUV, and the QX55, which is new for 2022, is really just a fastback version of the QX50. So the QX55 is to the QX50 what the BMW X4 is to the X3, what the Audi Q5 Sportback is to the regular Q5, what the Mercedes GLC Coupe is to the regular Mercedes GLC. I think you get the picture. These fastback or coupe-styled SUVs are becoming pretty popular in the luxury space, and the QX55 here is yet another one. So let's do a tour of this vehicle and then take it for a drive. Design is subjective, but I think the QX55 looks fine, especially given that this vehicle rides on a front-wheel drive architecture. Nissan's designers have done a pretty good job of hiding that. There's a little bit of a front overhang, but not too much. Around back is where this thing really deviates from the QX50. In fact, it's really the only area in which QX55 deviates from the QX50. There's a side profile there, so it's a pretty gradually sloping rear hatch area. Here are your badges. So all-wheel drive, Infiniti QX55. The button to open the rear hatch is located in the Infiniti logo here. It's pretty clever, but you can also open it by swiping your foot under the bumper. So the cargo area is a little bit compromised over that of the regular QX50, but really not too much. You get a 12-volt outlet there. There's a hook, there are provisions for a slide-out cargo cover, and then this is a feature that Nissan and Infiniti have had for a while. Got these little handles for putting down the second row seat backs from the cargo area. Hatch closes pretty quickly. There's another side profile view. Sorry about the lighting. Take a look at the window sticker here. You can see this is a 2022 Infiniti QX55 Sensory. That means it's fully loaded. As equipped, it comes in at just over $60,000, which feels a little steep. Power comes from a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. That's Nissan's variable compression turbocharged 4-cylinder. It's the same engine you'll find in higher level trims of the Altima. It makes 268 horsepower and 280 pounds-feet of torque. And it doesn't say it there, but that is paired to a continuously variable automatic transmission, which is a bummer. Fuel economy is rated by the EPA at 22 city, 28 highway, and 25 miles per gallon combined. This one is fully loaded. There's a view of the sticker, which helps to justify that $60,000 asking price, but still, that feels steep. Turn it on. So in terms of build quality, the interior here feels pretty good. You've got leather on the door panels. This is, I think it's a wood, but it almost has a metallic feel to it. Bose audio in this one. The gauge cluster is kind of antiquated. I guess we're getting into the more antiquated part of the vehicle, which is pretty much the entire dashboard. It uses analog gauges. Many of the competitors have gone to a fully digital design. There is a screen in the center here, but overall this feels maybe 5 or 6 years old. Same goes for this infotainment setup. Well, rather, this infotainment setup feels about 10 or 12 years old. It still uses this antiquated 2-tier design. Again, all the competitors have moved away from this. It seems like Nissan and Infiniti maybe committed to this design like a day before all the competitors decided to go to the single screen kind of floating iPad style displays. Either way though, this screen used to feel a lot older than this one. There was this stark disconnect between this screen, which is relatively modern in terms of the part, and then this screen, which was feeling pretty dated. I think they've upped the resolution on this screen though, which helps a little bit, but still there's really no reason to have this 2-tiered display. Luckily, this one is a touchscreen. You can also control it via this dial here, but this handles most of the navigation duties, whereas this screen is more HVAC and media. it doesn't really work for me. Most competitors have gone to that iPad style display because it allows them to incorporate a lower overall dashboard, which helps with visibility. It helps the cabin feel a little bit more airy. And you're really seeing why most competitors have done that when you look at the height of the dashboard in the QX55 here. It just feels really high. Yeah, this design doesn't really help this car at all. Rest of the center console is fine. Here's your shifter. So reverse, there's a little button there. So reverse is there, drive is back, and then park is that button there. You've got a couple different drive modes. You've got eco, standard, sport, and personal. Electronic parking brake, USB-C, USB-A, little cubby, 12 volt. You can cover that. No wireless charging pad, which seems like another omission. Here's your center console storage box. That's just got one USB-A port. It's relatively deep, I guess. And no panoramic sunroof. That's something else I was expecting to find that the QX55 doesn't have. You just get a normal size sunroof, and yeah, that's about it. Let's check out the second row. So you can see what things look like with the second row folded. The second row does recline, so here it's reclined, here it is not reclined. Definitely much more comfortable back here with the second row reclined a little bit. Door panels in the back are the same as the door panels up front, so you've got that leather material on here and then more of that metallic feeling wood finish. Windows are one touch up and down. On the back of the center console, you'll find a 12 volt outlet, a USB-A port, and then independent temperature controls. No fan speed, just temperature control for these vents on the back of the center console here. There is a fold down center armrest with two cup holders and then a little channel that you can, I don't know, rest your phone in. And then here's an interesting design choice. Not good or bad, just unique. They've cut out a little depression in the middle seat bottom here for the seatbelt receiver. So when that's not in use, you can press it flush into the cushion there, but you've got a depression in the cushion otherwise. Okay, driving the Infiniti QX55. Steering wheel feels pretty good. It's a circle, no real flat bottom design, but leather feels good, I guess. Stitching's kind of nice. I really don't have any complaints about the materials used throughout this cabin. There's some hard plastic there, but for the most part, they're all pretty good. It's the powertrain though, that's kind of a bummer. There's 50 miles per hour. The engine is fine. 268 horsepower is plenty at this level. It's the transmission though. Nissan is still using this continuously variable automatic. They do it for fuel economy and I imagine cost, but elsewhere in this segment you get a real geared transmission, and that's because I think in a $60,000 luxury SUV, the CVT is unbecoming. It's loud, it doesn't perform how I would like, it doesn't have real shifts, even though there are paddle shifters, which is weird. Yeah, the CVT in this vehicle, it feels like Nissan said we can save some money by giving this a CVT, and let's just cross our fingers that people don't notice it. And in my opinion, it's impossible not to notice it. One nice feature that you get is Nissan's ProPilot Assist system, which is capable of navigating the vehicle down the highway with minimal intervention on your part over relatively short distances. Leverages radar cruise control and the lane centering feature. And you're supposed to keep your hands on the steering wheel, but for the most part, it modulates the throttle and it'll steer for you. So that's definitely a plus. Second speed bump, that was at about 26 miles per hour. We felt next to nothing. Still, the transmission just makes noise. It's always audible. That was about 30 miles per hour or 25 miles per hour. Something clunked in the rear cargo area, but for the most part, things felt pretty smooth. Every time you accelerate, you just hear the transmission. That's not the case with any of the competitors. So I don't get why people are expected to accept that with this car. Backup camera is not great. You do get a 360-degree top-down view. Nissan has been offering this 360-degree camera system for quite a while now. They were one of the first companies to popularize it, as far as I know. So while they were first to market, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago with this system, they really haven't updated the camera resolution in the years since. So 360-degree camera is nice, it's just not very high resolution. So there's your look at the 2022 Infiniti QX55. Overall, I know design is subjective, but that's certainly meant to be one of the selling points of this vehicle. I think it looks pretty cool. Kind of has a Jaguar I-Pace look to it, especially in this 55 form that has the fastback rear roof design. So design is compelling. Build quality feels pretty good. Unfortunately, though, Nissan just doesn't have the tech in the areas that you expect it to be in. I do give them credit for ProPilot Assist, but the transmission in this car is antiquated, and I think Nissan and Infiniti are even starting to admit that, because the redesigned Pathfinder, which used to offer this CVT, now uses a 9-speed automatic. So I think if this car used a 9-speed, it would be a little bit more compelling. Active safety tech is good. I think I've mentioned that. Unfortunately, though, the other drawback is this infotainment system. It's just disjointed and antiquated, even though they've apparently updated this screen. There's really no reason to have two screens anymore. It kind of requires extra concentration, in my opinion, and most of the competition has moved beyond this approach. So that's another thing you're forced to compromise on with the QX50 and the QX55. And honestly, if this vehicle was priced more competitively, I would be able to overlook that, but at $60,000, I would just kind of expect that some of these things would have been worked out. Still though, $60,000 is a starting point. You'll hopefully get a little bit of a discount through Infiniti, and then hopefully you'd get a little bit more of a discount through an Infiniti dealership. Those are two different entities, Infiniti Corporate and whoever owns your Infiniti dealer. You'll hopefully get discounts on two different levels there, which would hopefully bring the cost of this vehicle down by, I don't know, $4,000-$6,000. And at 54, 55K, yeah, I could see how somebody could be pretty happy with the QX50 and the QX55 here. So I think that sums it up. Thank you for watching.